All right. Oh, actually, let me move this so you can actually like see me. That would. Who needs a camera? All right. Blah blah blah. Let's pop this guy into the ether. All right. Boom, boom, boom. Let's get started. Hey, what's going on, guys? Oh, wait, hold on a second. Let me actually do the extra steps that I keep forgetting. There we go. That was like way too far up. Like, check that beforehand. All right. What's going on, guys? I feel naked without my beanie, so I'm gonna pop this guy on. Hey, wait, where's my thingy? Hey, there we go. Hey, all right. How goes it? Just gonna pop this in the chat, just in case someone blah 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 words. Someone pops by later. Oh, what's up, Tristan? How you doing? Currently reading Transformers #2. I didn't pick it up today. I was supposed to, but I ended up not going to my regular comic book shop. So they didn't have it. But yeah, how did you like Transformers #2? That's definitely a book I'm gonna have to pick up tomorrow. After I get to work, I might just have to like pick it up from the comic shop that's like by my job instead of the one that I like to go to. But yeah, dude, Daniel Warren Johnson doing Transformers. That's like it's a match made in heaven. Pretty good so far. The writing art by Daniel Warren Johnson's badass. Dude, he's like, I mean, I feel kind of cringy when I compare contemporary writers and artists to past writers and artists, but bro, Daniel Warren Johnson is like the contemporary Frank Miller. Like, my guy is an expert cartoonist in the fact that he is an amazing writer, and he is as an amazing writer as he is an amazing artist. So like, you don't get a lot of that. Yeah, we really don't. Not anymore, at least. So Daniel Warren Johnson's one of those like once in a generation kind of guys. What's up, 1610? Blumhouse Studios, Todd McFarlane's Spawn reboot, coming 2099 at this rate. I'm still fascinated to see what that looks like, though. I mean, like a Blumhouse Studios Spawn, like that. On paper, that sounds amazing. In execution, I don't know how that's gonna come out. I really don't. But I mean, I don't know. It depends on who they get to like be the writer and the director. I would love if they got a director who shares a lot of the same sensibilities as the director of Hereditary and Midsommar. Even though I don't really like Midsommar, but like, you know, the Hereditary is still great. I feel like that is the vibe you need from like a Spawn movie. If you're gonna make a Spawn movie, Howard McFarlane Spawn reboot script leaked in the 2010s. Oh, so it's just like a Twitch, like a Salmon Twitch like crime movie. I mean, that like potentially sounds all right, I guess. Hey, what's up, John Ty? Uh, I mean, I'd have to like check it out and see it for myself. There were a lot of scripts where like you describe them and it sounds really cool or it sounds terrible, but then you read it and you're like, oh, this is, you know, the James Cameron Spider-Man script is like that, you know. You hear people describe it and you're like, that's like the worst thing in the world, and then you read it and you're like, oh, this would have been like one of the greatest superhero films ever made. Why didn't we get this? Why do we have what we have now? I mean, I like, you know, I think the first Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movie is like legitimately like the best live-action Spider-Man film we've gotten. I love The Amazing Spider-Man 2. I think for better or worse, it is a perfect adaptation of 70s Spider-Man comics. Really stretching that for better or worse there. I'm not a big fan of the MCU Spider-Man films, despite the fact that I think they're like decent movies. They're like good blockbuster action, you know, teen cringe comedy things. But like, in the Spider-Verse, the first Spider-Verse film was great. That is my favorite Spider-Man movie. And then there's Across the Spider-Verse, which I think is gonna live or die based on its sequel. But, yeah, man. I really do think, despite all that, James Cameron's like 50-page script mint, whatever the fuck that means. That's just some shit that James Cameron made up. But like that script mint that James Cameron wrote is the best Spider-Man film that we will never get, unfortunately, because reality is often disappointing. Tom McFarlane cut Sam out of the reboot script because a funny fat man for adaptational comic relief is unbelievable in his opinion. That's weird. Alright, I guess. Are you gonna read Joshua Williamson's Duke and Cobra? No! Nope. Don't care. I mean, unless... here's the thing. I know it's gonna tie into all the Transformers stuff. G.I. Joe was just not my thing as a kid, though. It just wasn't. Which is weird, because, like, there was a G.I. Joe, like, reboot anime that came out around the time I was a kid. And that's also when we got, like, a Thundercats reboot. That's when we got the He-Man reboot. That's when, like, all those, like, 80s properties were coming to Cartoon Network, and they were, like, doing the edgy reboot of those 80s properties. Ninja Turtles, you know, the 2003 Ninja Turtles show was like one of those properties. But for whatever reason, I just did not get into G.I. Joe. So I don't know. And Joshua Williamson is hit or miss for me, so I might check out the first issue, but it's not really. I'm not like super jazzed for it in the way that I'm like super like give me Transformers, because I love Transformers. That was like my thing growing up. I used to like autistically just like spout random tidbits about like factoids about Transformers in like the 5th and 6th grade. That's how well I knew it. I had like 10 guidebooks on Transformers, and I watched all the shows. Well, not all the shows. I never finished Armada, which I liked. I don't know why I didn't finish Armada. It might have been canceled. That might be the thing. I had a whole thing where if I found out the show got canceled, I just stopped watching it. So maybe it got canceled, but yeah, I never finished Armada. But outside of that, I watched like all the other Transformers TV shows up until Prime. I watched the beginning of Prime and I never finished it. Um, and that was mostly just because like college got in the way. Um, but I should probably go back and check that out. Um, with Dan Waters doing the backups in Ram V's Detective Comics recently, I went back and read his Azrael 6-issue miniseries. It was great. And a great companion story to Ram V's Detective Comics run. Everyone's like really raving about Detective Comics by Ram V. I'm gonna give that a shot. Let me see if the trade is available. It's like Gotham Nocturne Overture. Oh, it came out already. Okay. Oh, it's a hardcover. I don't like hardcovers. I have a whole thing with hardcovers. I don't like hardcovers. Oh wait, the softcover doesn't come out until 2024. Oh, fuck. Well, then I guess I'll just wait until the softcover comes out. I really don't like hardcovers. That's like a thing I have. I do not like hardcovers. I'll get them if I have to, if that's like the only way I can get the story, but I much prefer softcovers. They're just way easier to put on your shelf. The Amazing Spider-Man 1 should have cut out the spy parents and lizard stuff. See, I disagree. I feel like that's where the film really kind of shines. My problem with The Amazing Spider-Man 1 is that I feel like once you get to the third act, it wants to be a Raimi Spider-Man film, but up until that point, it is not a Raimi Spider-Man film. Like I think I've said this before in other streams. I feel like The Amazing Spider-Man 1, all the stuff with the lizard should have been played like a horror film. It shouldn't have been like these big bombastic, like action set pieces. It should have been, everything should have been like contained. Everything should have been, like Peter's looking over his shoulders. His spider sense is blaring every 5 seconds. All of the lizard interactions, and it's just my opinion. All of the lizard interactions in The Amazing Spider-Man 1 should have been like that first encounter in the sewer where Peter is just like swimming for his life through that like disgusting, infectious New York City sewer water. Like, it should have been that. Everything should have been tense. Peter should have... his back's against the ropes, or the wall in this case. And the lizard is just this beast who's hunting him. I feel like that should have been the vibe for the movie when it came to the superhero stuff, but it just wasn't. I think instead of doing the whole, like, Ganali device, where the lizard is gonna like turn everyone in the city into lizards with Magic Johnson dispersal aerosol raid. Instead of doing that, first of all, you should have had Connors' family in that film. They shouldn't have been cut. But second of all, Connor's family should have been victims of the lizard, right? You know, like there should have been a whole bit where as soon as Connor starts losing himself to the lizard, he just takes Billy and his wife, I can't remember his wife's name, I think it's like Sarah or something, but he takes Billy and Sarah down to the sewers and he just starts experimenting on them and turning them into like weird, like half dead lizard things. And he's just, like, abducting people and dragging them into the sewers and trying to turn them into his cold-blooded master race. That's what that movie should have been when it came to the lizard. Instead, we got, like, Doc Ock 2.0. And I feel like that was the real kind of problem with that movie. Everything else I love, though. I love the relationship stuff. I love the schism between Spider-Man and the cops. I love the schism between Spider-Man and specifically like Captain Stacy. I love all the stuff between Peter and Aunt May. I love Peter and Uncle Ben's relationship. Everything in that movie works up until you get to that third act. That's where I think everything falls apart. But yeah, like I think so far it's like still the best live action Spider-Man movie. I'm starting to read Poison Ivy by G. Willow Wilson. Oh, how was that? I like G. Willow Wilson. I'm not prepared to pay like $4 for a Poison Ivy book. Darren Aronofsky's canceled Wolverine movie, The Last Ronin, with Wolverine in present day. Not a sequel or reboot to the X-Men Origins Wolverine. Interesting. I mean, that could have been cool. I like Darren Aronofsky a lot. You know what Darren Aronofsky Marvel movie that we never got, but I really wanted to see? Spider-Man. I wish to God we got to see Darren Aronofsky do Spider-Man. Because he almost directed The Amazing Spider-Man. And apparently that movie would have focused on... it would have been like kind of a soft reboot for the Raimi films. Like, it wouldn't have like straight up contradicted them, but it very clearly wouldn't have been like in that universe. You would have had, like, recast everyone and whatnot. But that film would have been about like the death of Gwen Stacy after MJ leaves Peter, and Peter's just kind of like struggling trying to be Spider-Man. And Norman Osborn loses his memory of being the Green Goblin, but then he gets it back, and then he kills Gwen. I think that could have been really fascinating. I think that could have been a really good superhero movie. But we didn't get it. We didn't get it. And once again, reality is often disappointing. I read Batman Superman World's Finest yesterday, and it was a lot of fun. Dude, yeah, man. The World's Finest is straight up just one of the best superhero comics coming out right now. You know, I'm not the world's biggest Mark Waid fan, but when he knows how to write good superhero stuff. And like, dude, yeah, no, his Batman Superman book is just straight up, it's just everything you want from a superhero comic. It's great. I love it. The Amazing Spider-Man 2, back to the Raimi formula and set up for a Spider-Man cinematic universe. Yeah, that... too much is going on in that movie. I feel like The Amazing Spider-Man 2 should... Like, in an era where, like, TV shows are basically just 6-hour movies, The Amazing Spider-Man 2 should have just been, like, a 6-hour, like, streaming thing. I mean, granted, this is way before we had streaming, but... Or I guess way before streaming is what it is now. But I feel like The Amazing Spider-Man 2 should have just been like a 6-hour streaming series. Because everything in there, I think, works on paper. It's just there's not enough time devoted to some of those like character bits and plot lines. Like, I totally buy Harry feeling like he's going to die like tomorrow. I feel that, especially where he has all this stress under him from, I think, like the chairman of Oscorp, who's like trying to weasel Harry out of the company, and Harry's like, oh no, I'm not gonna have the resources to make myself like, you know, a disgusting half person like my father was. If I don't have these resources, I'm just gonna die. I get that. More time needs to be spent on that. All the stuff with like Felicia, who's like maybe Black Cat, maybe not, I don't know, whatever. That potentially could have been cool, but it just wasn't. I don't know. You just needed more time. You just needed more time to flesh out those ideas. Lizard the Mindless Beast versus Lizard the Mad Scientist villain. You know what? I like Lizard as like a mindless beast because that's what I grew up with Ultimate Spider-Man and the Ultimate Universe and Ultimate Team Up, which I still don't know why that's not collected in any of the Ultimate Spider-Man stuff. Like the Ultimate Lizard is like it's like a big part of like the first 40 issues of Amazing Spider-Man. Not that issue's just not collected anywhere. Why? It's like one of the biggest oversights in Marvel publishing, but I don't know. That said, as much as I love Mindless Lizard, Lizard as a mad scientist is just that's my bread and butter. That's my preferred Lizard. I like when Lizard is like he is Kurt Connor's obsession warped through like this monster creature. You're just like, I'm going to make everyone lizards. How are you gonna do that, Lizard? I'm going to cut off their skin and replace it with leather handbags. like one eye's going this way, the other eye's going that way. His teeth are all jagged. He can barely hold a scalpel, but he knows what he's doing. Mad Scientist Lizard is my favorite lizard. Oh, dude. He's just so good. Sympathetic supervillains. Tragic backstories like the superhero, but still evil. Yeah, I mean, those can work. I mean, that's like every Spider-Man villain. If you like really think about it. But I don't know. I went back and I like started reading a bunch of Ditko era Spider-Man. It's so funny to me that, especially in playing the Spider-Man 2 game, which is actually why I started the stream a little late. Sorry about that. A lot of Spider-Man media really goes out of its way to make Spider-Man villains like sympathetic and oh no, but like he's a good guy, but the circumstances of reality, man. He's like Peter, because Peter has the circumstances of reality, man. We're all just people, man. Like, all the movies and shows are, like, trying to humanize these supervillains. The comics are just like, nah, Electro's a bastard. Vulture's a crotchety old bastard. Doc Ock is a bastard. Like, these are just bastards. They're not good people. I don't know what lesson Steve Ditko was trying to impart there. Or maybe I do, and I just don't... I'm not based enough to just, like, come out with it, but... A lot of those Spider-Man villains, especially like the early ones, they're just bad people. There's nothing redeeming there. They're just monsters. And they're all old men. I mean, there's like a whole thing with like, you know, youthful rebellion in the face of like failure, like middle-aged and elderly failure. But yeah, like Spider-Man's villains are just old men who are resentful of society, and they're lashing out, and they're just bad people. There's nothing human there anymore. Doc Ock is just a monster. Vulture is just a monster. Mysterio is just straight up a monster. Electro is a monster. They're all monsters. And I don't know, it's kind of weird going back to that material, given how, like, a lot of other superhero stuff right now is, like, I feel going out of its way to go like, no, these are people too. These old stories are like, no, they're not. They're menaces to society. They have to be put away. It's just kind of refreshing seeing that take. It's funny. But yeah, I don't know. I like it. Darren Aronofsky's Spider-Man 4, the resurrection of the Green Goblin, and the death of Gwen Stacy. Dude, yeah, it would have been cool. I would have loved to see a Darren Aronofsky Spider-Man film, but We don't live in the cool reality. We live in this one. John Ty says, with the third issue of Kelly Thompson's Birds of Prey, it continues to be great. Oh, sweet! I saw Wonder Woman on the team. Unless she was always on the team and I didn't pay attention. But the artwork that I'm seeing in like out of context panels on Twitter and Instagram are like, chef kiss, chef kiss, chef's a kiss. It's so good. What did you read today? I didn't read much today. I read the first issue of the new Punisher book, and I actually. Oh, god damn it. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? I started reading this. Cosmic Odyssey. Came in the mail. Actually came in the mail a couple weeks ago, but, I finally just, like, sat down and started reading it. Really good time capsule of the DC Universe. Been reading that, and I've also been reading, it's another book that my girlfriend got me. It's like Kurt Volstagg, I think Kurt Werner. It's in my backpack and it's downstairs. I don't feel like going to get it now. But it's Kurt Werner is dead or something like that. It's about this Nazi fighter pilot in World War II, and his plane gets shot down and he goes to hell. It's really fascinating. Also something that I just would not have expected to see, because, I mean, Nazis are, like, typically depicted as, like, inhumane monsters who aren't given the luxury of being three-dimensional people. But this guy is just a regular dude. World War II is just fascinating to me. So, like, I thought it was, like, kind of cool seeing a story about, like, just a Nazi soldier who expects the war to be over in a couple months. He just wants to do the job, go home. He just wants the war to be over. But his plane gets shot down and he goes to hell. I think that's fascinating. So I've been reading that. And I've also been reading the 90s Spider-Girl book. I just lent out volume 1 to my girlfriend, but I have volume 2 somewhere over here. Here we go. I got volume 2 right here. So I actually never finished. I didn't finish volume 1, so I kind of want to just jump into this one, because I think this is where you get the April, or April Parker, who's like Mayday's like symbiotic sister. It's like her Venom sister. I'm fascinated to see like how that character actually comes into the fold, but that might be volume 3. Now that I don't know. I feel like she shows up like way later in the series. But then again, this is only like 100 issues, so I don't know. But yeah, that's what I read this week. I didn't read a lot this week. But I enjoyed what I read. Question: how do you keep enjoying Big 2 cape shit stuff, even with the bad stuff like character assassinations, status quo resets, bloated events, character regressions, resurrections, pointless deaths, etc., etc.? Simple. I focus on what I like. I ignore what I don't like. And I also keep in the back of my head the reality that anything I don't like in comics is temporary. Anything I don't like in comics right now, particularly superhero comics, Marvel and DC, anything I don't like that's coming out right now, temporary. Bendis on Superman. Holy God, what a mess. temporary. Last 2 years, or I guess 2.5 years, once he was off the book, we got Philip Kennedy Johnson, which I arguably think is one of the best runs on that book since Morrison and Rags Morales in 2011 with the New 52. You know, I was not a fan of Scott Snyder's run on Batman. Then we got Tom King's run, and I liked the beginning of it, and then I got tired of it. And then we got James Tynion's run. Did not like that. But now we have Chip Zdarsky, and I like it. I think it's cool. Again, temporary. Granted, temporary was like 10 years, but hey, there were some really cool out of continuity Batman stories that I liked. Peter J. Tomasi had a really fun Detective Comics stint. So that was cool. But yeah, just everything I don't like about comics is temporary. Enjoy the stuff I'm enjoying in the moment. And there's always gonna be stuff that's coming out that there will be characters who will have runs that I just won't expect to love. I feel like I could phrase that like way better, but I'm not going to. But for example, Jed MacKay's Moon Knight. I'm not a big Moon Knight reader, but Jed MacKay's pretty cool. The first couple issues of that Moon Knight run were great. And now I'm collecting that book in trade. There's also all the stuff that Hickman's doing with the Ultimate Universe, or I guess the new Ultimate Universe. That's dope. I shudder to think about all the other stuff that's coming. I like Peach Momoko, so I know I'm gonna like the X-Men book that she does. And Hickman's doing Ultimate Spider-Man. I like Hickman as a writer. How he's going to approach Spider-Man, I don't know, but I'm sure it will be well written and fascinating nonetheless. Be that as it may, though, all these things are temporary. I don't know how long these things are gonna last. So I'm just going to enjoy it while it's there. That's. I guess that's just that was a very bloated answer, I feel, but enjoy what you enjoy in the moment. Ignore what you don't enjoy, and you will enjoy it again in time. And that's how I stay enjoying superhero comics. Ultimate Marvel Team Up was already collected in the trade paperback in the 2000s. I got them. Damn. Are you saying I have to get like all of Ultimate Marvel Team Up? You son of a bitch. Because I don't really care about most of those. Holy God, it's $60. Why? Why? Okay, there's like some in here that are like kind of cool. Alright, I might bite the bullet on getting it through Amazon. There's just like so many other books I need to get through Amazon before this. God, why is the Ultimates $69? Oh, that's the omnibus. Okay, never mind. That makes sense. No, crap. Okay, there we go. Mark Webb's Electro quote: "It's my birthday. Now it's time to light my candles." Dude, I like Electro in the not in the Ultimate. I mean, I like Electro in the Ultimate Universe, but I like Electro in the Amazing Spider-Man movies. He's really fun. He's kind of like a mixture of the Electro from the MTV Spider-Man show and the Spectacular Spider-Man TV show Electro. Which is so weird. Everyone was like so up in arms about Electro got his powers from electric eels that mutate you. That's stupid. Why would you ever do that? And it's like, because the arguably the best adaptation of the character, Spectacular Spider-Man, chose to give Max Dillon his powers through electric eels that mutate people. Like, if you're gonna steal from anyone, like, steal from the best. And they stole from the best. I thought it was cool. I don't know. There were just a lot of complaints about the Amazing Spider-Man films. Where just looking back, I'm like, what? Why was this seen as like legitimate criticism? Do you just not know Spider-Man? Do you just not understand this character? Like, I remember when like the promotional material was being put out there, everyone's like, oh my god, why does Peter Parker look so moody and angsty? It's like, well, first of all, he's a teenager. They all look like that. But second of all, it's Peter Parker? Like, I remember the comic book cast in particular, because I used to watch them a lot growing up as a kid. Comic book cast did a whole thing, and they interviewed Josh Keaton, and like one of the dudes, I can't remember his name. It was like it wasn't Joel. It was the Australian guy who still does like YouTube videos. But he interviewed Josh Keaton and was like, yeah, you know, I'm not gonna do an Australian accent, but he's like, the reason I love your version of Spider-Man and why Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man sucks is because you're not mean to criminals. You're funny, but you're not mean when you make jokes. Spider-Man's not supposed to be mean, and Peter Parker's not supposed to be a jerk to his friends. And it's like, you work for a YouTube channel called Comic Book Cast, and you very clearly haven't read Spider-Man comics. I'm very puzzled by I'm very puzzled by your take on Spider-Man here, man. I don't know. Just what a time. What an absolute time. Oh my god. What's up, Adam? How you doing? Hey man, if this new Ultimate Spider-Man book is fire and sells well in these treats, you might see them collect the Ultimate Team Up. That'd be cool. I'd like them to recollect the Ultimate Team Up book. I remember my favorite ones growing up were the Ultimate Iron Man and Ultimate Spider-Man Team Up, although it completely contradicts the Ultimate, like, Iron Man that we see in Mark Miller's Ultimates. But yeah, whatever. The Ultimate Universe was just chock full of contradictions like that. But yeah, I really like the Ultimate Iron Man, Ultimate Spider-Man Team Up. Which is, again, it's just so weird because, like, you see the armors from the Ultimate Team Up feature in Brian Hitch and Mark Millar's Ultimates. So it's very clearly that Iron Man, but he's also not that Iron... I don't know. The Ultimate Universe was just full of contradictions and like, continuity fuck-ups, but... I really love the Ultimate Iron Man and Spider-Man 1. I love the Ultimate Spider-Man and Ultimate X-Men 1. I also like that artwork a lot. And the one with a lizard, really good. Really heartbreaking ending too. Like that whole bit where Dr. Connors is like calling he's calling his wife. Really he's trying to call Billy, but his wife picks up. No. He's trying to call Billy. And he thinks his wife picks up, but it's her current boyfriend. And he just says, "Hey, Bill," or whatever the fuck his name is. "Just tell Sarah I said hi and I want to talk to Billy." And then he just hangs up and he just starts crying. That was really good. um. So yeah, I don't know, man. I really liked I liked Ultimate Team Up a lot. Um, I do hope Marvel does reprint a lot of those old stories, but I doubt it. I highly doubt it. Um, Humanizing superheroes and supervillains, the mundanity tropes, yeah. Um, this is true. Spider-Man basically fought old money in the first 60 issues. Dude, yeah, they're all like, if they weren't like aristocrats who were psychotic, they were poor people who were psychotic. They were just psychos, and there's nothing redeeming about them. They're just crazy, and that's what I liked about them. They're funny. Um, uh, yeah, Earth 1610 and Earth 6160. They're completely different Earths. Um, but because they're like part of that Ultimate Universe brand, it'd be cool to see them like carry over all that material. Um, for 20 years, I never thought writers could ever top the Angel Messenger God Punisher with Holy Uzis. In the last 10 years, I've been proven wrong. Well, now the Punisher is like the avatar to the Beast of the Hand, I guess. Dude, my buddy Troy loves that. He absolutely loves it, and it's like, this is great. This is I actually talked to him the other day, and it was so weird because he was kind of irritated that Marvel was retiring Frank Castle and replacing him with a new guy who was a SHIELD agent, and I don't quite understand where that frustration comes from, because that's very clearly what Jason Aaron's run is building to. I mean, not the SHIELD agent part, but like Frank retiring the Punisher persona and just living his life. Like, he gets an ending. I don't like that ending, but he gets an ending. So yeah, I don't know. I kind of like that. We got like a new Punisher, and I think he's pretty interesting too. I like that someone's finally doing something cool with the whole idea that SHIELD no longer exists. Because I feel like that's the status quo that just we don't really touch on anymore. But that was like one of the big fallouts of Secret Empire. Like, SHIELD was dismantled. So yeah, I don't know. I really enjoyed the first issue of the current Punisher book. I'm very excited to see where it goes. I like how he has those like nanotech guns, like Bloodsport from the Suicide Squad movie. I thought that was really cool. So yeah, dude, I don't know. I like it. I thought it was cool. Captain America versus the Red Cuck, a veteran story. Is this written by Christopher Cantwell? Because I'd read that. Headcanon versus mainstream comics. I mean, headcanon's gonna play a little bit of a role in some of your enjoyment of that material. Hey, what's up, Supreme? Not every bad stuff gets undone. Just look at the resurrection of Jason Todd, Barry Allen, and Norman Osborn. Very true. Very true. Be that as it may, I like that Barry Allen doesn't really play a significant role in the Flash books anymore. He's just kind of in the background and shows up for like big events. Kind of like what it seems like Insomniac gonna try to do with Peter Parker in Spider-Man 3. So we'll see how that turns out. But I like that Barry Allen's kind of in that role. If he's not gonna be dead, then at least just have him in the background and have like another Flash be the main Flash. I don't know. I like that. I'll say this much about the 10-year run on Batman. fire artwork. Truly reminds me of the Scott McDaniel books. Incoherent story and execution, but the artwork is sex to my eyes. I mean, there's a lot of comics like that where like the art is amazing, but the story is just absolute. It is a failed abortion of a story. I'm one of those people where I just can't. I cannot. I am the opposite of Jimmy Palmiotti. Like, Jimmy Palmiotti had like a whole Twitter post about how he'll read a comic if the art is great, even if the story's terrible. I'm the opposite. Even if the art is amazing, if the story is bad, I just can't do it. But if the story is amazing but the art is terrible, don't mind. I really don't mind. I'll enjoy it. Adam says, wait, no, I already read that one. 1610 says, killing off popular superheroes and supervillains makes fans unhappy. Resurrection for sales. Resurrection for sales! Pain. Absolute pain. Hickman stays on Marvel until editorial edits him away. Dude, at this point, Hickman just is editorial. Is there anything new to say with the superhero genre? There have been so many deconstructions or reconstructions. I mean, yeah, I think there's, in theory... Okay, here's the thing with superheroes just in general. Superhero is not a genre. Superheroes are a type of protagonist. And I think you can throw superheroes in any genre. You can throw superheroes in horror stories. You can throw them in romance stories. You can throw them in soap operas. You can throw them in like sex comedies. You can throw superheroes in anything. You can say whatever you're trying to say with superheroes. But that's the thing. I feel like there's just not a lot of people who want to say something about anything other than superheroes and like the industry of the superhero comic and comic book movies. And that's why it feels like superheroes are stale now. But I don't know. I think you can say a lot with superheroes. I still think there's lots to be said with them. Got the Marvel Team Up trade for like $6 at a bookstore. Dude, I'm trying to come across that luck. Actually, I did recently. Hold on a second. If I can find it. This bad boy. Some dude came to my comic shop. He just dumped a whole crate of comics and graphic novels on the floor and said, "You guys can have it." And this was in there. So, like, dude, just... Sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes you just get really lucky. And I'm kicking myself, like, to this day. I used to live near a bookstore that unfortunately closed its doors some years back. But they had the entire Invincible run. Like, they had all of it. For like $3 a trade. And Invincible's only like 15 trades. But I was like super worried about, oh, do I have enough space to have all these books? Blah, 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 blah. Not thinking in my head, $3 for like 15 trades? That's a steal? I don't know why I didn't jump on that. I don't know what was wrong with me. But that was the L that I took. Um, Not sure I'm ever gonna find that kind of luck again, but that was an L. Um, what are some big two comic stories, be it runs or miniseries, that you hated at first, but over time you grew to like that story? First of all, Batman Damned. Um, that is a book that, when it first came out, I was part of that whole hullabaloo of like, oh, Batman penis, blah blah blah. And I just kind of, for whatever reason, I just kind of felt like the book was, it was a wonderful artist showcase, but I felt like the writing just wasn't up to snuff. But I read it again recently. Holy goddamn shit. This might be like one of the best Batman comics I've ever read in my life. It's amazing. And like as a companion piece to Joker by Brian Azzarello and Lee Bermejo, like it's the perfect sequel. It's the perfect follow-up to that story. Dude, I absolutely love Batman Damned. That comic is brilliant, I feel. And I don't know, I kind of hate myself for not seeing the Vision when it first came out, but yeah, that's a really good book. What's another one that I didn't like when I first read it? I did not like Donny Cates' run on Venom when it was first coming out. At the time, I was like, this is stupid. Venom's like now Beowulf. Get out of here. This is dumb. I hate this. But after having read that entire run recently, no, that's great. No, it's actually great. It's so good. It is so good. I don't know what was wrong with me. But yeah, Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman's Venom is like top tier. Do not know for the life of me why I didn't like it as it was coming out. Oh no, I do know why. Because I was very stringent and going like, yeah, Spider-Man and Venom street level characters. Yeah, don't make them Eldritch guys. Yeah. But once I get over that hump, I was like, no, this is actually great. This is actually like kind of amazing. But yeah, those are some big two stories for me that I read, and did not. I didn't get it when I first read it, but I loved it afterwards. Also, Morrison's run on Batman, kind of. I love Batman and Robin Reborn as it was coming out. I did not like Batman R.I.P. I thought it was weird and stupid, but it's great. It's great, and I was wrong. Although that was a conclusion that I came to like shortly after I read Batman and Robin Reborn, because that's when I started reading the Morrison run on Batman in real time. But you know, up to that point, I was not a fan of Morrison's run on Batman. I was like, this is stupid and weird. You're making Batman weird, Grant. I don't appreciate it. Don't appreciate you're making Batman weird and dumb. Shit. Matt, the Australian comic book guy. Oh yeah. That's his name. Yeah, he said something. He said that whole thing about Spider-Man. And I was like, it's a weird take, but okay, bro. 2010's comic book cast YouTube channel quote: Fox, Sony, Universal, New Line Cinema, and Warner Brothers make bad superhero movies. Only Marvel Studios gets it right, bruh. That was their whole, that is literally the brand they built their YouTube channel off of. Oh man. Oh man. Oh man. Oh man. uh hey, that's their brand. That's what they do. Oh well, whatever. I ain't hating. Fun Marvel villain pitch. A new generation of villains who are more cruel, more nihilistic, more sadistic. A newer, scarier version of Hydra. A perfect foil for the recent idealistic generation of legacy heroes. Interesting. That's something that sounds cool when you say it like that. How I know Marvel will approach it, though, will be significantly less interesting and cool. It would literally just be, like, Twitter incels, just like, nah, Hail Hydra! And, like, Jordan Peterson would be, like, the Red Skull behind everything. It would be dumb. It would just be stupid. And, yeah. It just would not be worth it just wouldn't be worth the read. But the concept is great. The concept is really good. Looks like I am okay. Oh, nope, never mind. Huh. No, my stream is crashing. Oh crap. I wonder if this will fix it. Potentially. Hopefully. Okay, there we go, I think. I hope. Alright, how do I sound? How do I look? I'm looking good? Do I look good? Do I sound good? Can you hear me? Okay, I hope you can hear me. Okay, there we go. Matt from Comic Book Cast 2 is a Superman fanboy, not a Spider-Man fan. Okay. Alright, then, cool. I guess he was just, like, outside of his wheelhouse with that, then. Daniel Way's Marvel Max Ant-Man's canceled book, the rated R superhero spy comedy. Imagine the Boys knockoff. Dude, you talking about Irredeemable Ant-Man? That book was hilarious. I absolutely loved it. I remember reading that in high school with my buddy Ziggy Gamma. That was our favorite comic for like most of high school. That was a really good era of Marvel Comics, I feel. That was like just before Marvel hit like peak like hyper sanitization. No. We're crashing again? We shouldn't be. That's weird. I don't know why that's happening lately. That's frustrating. But looks like we're good now. Okay. Cool. Who's more of a boring character to you, Superman or Captain America? Captain America. Superman has like really cool stories. Captain America, when he's great, but most of the time I feel like no one knows what they're doing with that character. Um, so that's yeah. I final answer's Captain America. Um, Barry Cuckland versus Wally Chaddist, the Flash Wars. Well, I mean Wally wins that naturally because Wally's great, and he's the best Flash. Um, if the setting advances but the characters don't age, that's kind of what time trope. Yep, that's how the Ultimate Universe progresses from the year 1999 up to 2015, and only a year passes. I guess 2 years. Well, it's kind of weird because the Miles Morales book experiences like 2 time skips, but in theory, it's like 3 years from 1999 up through 2015, and we get cell phones. We get we see the evolution of the pager getting phased out into the cell phone, and then the cell phone turning into the BlackBerry, and then the BlackBerry getting turned into the smartphone. We also see like TiVo. TiVo is a big part of the Ultimate Universe. So like I don't know, it's just one of those weird things. We're sliding time scale. It's a sliding time scale. Don't think about it. Don't think about it, but also think about it. But don't think about it. Unsympathetic villains. Interesting enough. Back in the day, not everybody liked Claremont's reinvention of Magneto into a sympathetic character with a Holocaust backstory. Thoughts? Interesting. I always think of Magneto just off the bat being a Holocaust survivor. Did not know that was a... Huh. Damn. Didn't know that was a Claremont thing. There's a lot of stuff about the X-Men that I'm just not super well versed in. For me, the X-Men begins with Grant Morrison, and that's just my frame of reference for the X-Men. Like everything from like 2004 onward is my X-Men. But now that Marvel's doing the Epic collections, I really want to try to collect all of the. I really want to collect all the Claremont era X-Men material. I'm excited to do that. But it is funny that people didn't like Magneto becoming a sympathetic villain, because when Grant Morrison gets their hands on Magneto with new X-Men, everyone's mad that he just turns them, or I guess he turns the he turns Magneto just right back into a mustache twirling like Nazi villain. That's kind of funny how that like flip flopped. Come up with cast 2 brand equals Marvel Studios fans. I mean, yeah, that's part of the reason why I stopped watching the channel, honestly. The hero's identity is claimed by or I guess legacy character equals the hero's identity is claimed by another person after the original hero retires from crime fighting or gets killed. Ideally, that's how that would work. Now that's not necessarily the case. That's how you run into weird situations like they're 2 Hawkeyes. They're 2 Green Arrows. You got multiple Batmen running around. Which the Batman one I'm still kind of fine with. I'm not sure if I ever explained that or not, but I do like the idea of there being multiple Batmen. Like Batman's supposed to be like this boogeyman figure for the underworld, like the criminal underworld. I think it's kind of cool that there are like multiple Batmen just kind of like all around America or all around the world. Like Batman's kind of like a franchise. That was all the stuff that Grant Morrison was doing with Batman in their run on Batman Incorporated. But yeah, outside of that, I don't like when you have like multiple superheroes sharing the same name. I don't like that there were two Supermen right now. I don't like that there are multiple Spider-Men. Like, if you're gonna have, like, just have one. Let there be one. Like, God, why is that so hard to do? I don't know. Legacy launch, the hero's predecessor comes back, resulting in the successor returning to their predecessor's identity in exchange for taking up the costume persona of their own. Yeah. Captain America equals the wannabe Superman of Marvel Comics. I don't necessarily think that's Captain America. I think that's more so like Captain Marvel. That whole cosmic corner of the Marvel universe is just straight up, what if Superman, but like not Superman? And it's like, okay, I guess. I can say before I read all of New X-Men by Morrison, last month I had preconceived notion of their X-Men run from the backlash or controversy. Before I read all the yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff, much like when we were talking about like movie scripts earlier. If you just kind of go off the description of it, it sounds terrible, but it works. Like, it actually does work. Yeah, the run really grew on me. Yeah, I'm glad. I think it's a really good run on comics. Hickman's X-Men, the Morrison sequel that crashed and burned. Yeah, but was popular enough due to Marvel getting the X-Men movie rights back. Yeah, that's like the super sad part about House of X and Powers of 10. It is very clearly using Morrison's run as a launch pad to propel the X-Men to like the future, and then it just doesn't. It just doesn't. Another crazy thing about Morrison's run on the X-Men is that Grant Morrison very publicly had a falling out with Joe Quesada, and Joe Quesada, as retaliation, I guess, completely unraveled the status quos that Morrison was building with their run on New X-Men. Which is just the funniest thing, because I feel like every writer since Morrison has just been building off Morrison. I don't know. The Grant Morrison AI persists. Always has and always will. Why doesn't DC Publication have Epic Collections or like a trade initiative? I don't know. I think it might have something to do with the fact that DC Comics characters generally do not read linearly. Like, it works for Marvel because Marvel is a soap opera. Marvel Comics is the world outside your window where there are like actions and consequences, and you know, like Superman will never age, not really. But like in theory, Wolverine is like still the same guy that he was in like Hulk 181 back in the 70s. That's still the same guy that we're following. It like the Marvel universe just kind of works linearly in a way that the DC universe just doesn't, and maybe that's why DC doesn't do Epic Collections. I don't know. You'd have to ask someone who works at DC. Joss Whedon saved some of the Morrison stuff. Yeah, he did. The whole like secondary mutation and all that. DC Comics equals a patchwork universe. You're joking, but it is. It's a tapestry of like all the other corporations and publishing houses that DC Comics just sort of gobbled up and said, "This is mine now." Oh, you were Shazam? Actually, you are ours now. That's just like most of DC's publication history. Um, I'm surprised you liked Whedon's X-Men run. Isn't he just recreating the Claremont Burns stuff, and indulging his childhood crush on Kitty Pryde? Yeah, but two things. I haven't read the Claremont Burns stuff. I know a lot about it, but I haven't read it. Um, so I don't know. That's really just it. I like it because I'm ignorant of the X-Men generally. That's why. Um, Yo, what's good, Arcus? How you doing, pal? Um, I'm doing good. I might be forced to end the stream soon because uh, my internet just keeps like crashing. I don't know what the problem is. Um, but how you doing? Did you read anything cool this week? Um, because I got this, and I was super excited about getting this. God damn. Sometimes life is just fair. Granted, we'll kick you in the balls a couple times. But afterwards it will lift you back on your feet, and it will give you like hugs and kisses, and like, it'll just stuff $20 in your pockets. That's the ebb and flow of life. It is what it is. But I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm doing pretty good. I'm still trying to like work on like some video stuff, as well as like writing my own comics, which is like hard. Bought the second volume of Ghost in the Shell. Nice. As for manga, I haven't bought a lot of manga lately. I think the last one that I bought was the first volume of Blame, which is very different from the it's very different from the anime film. So I don't know. I'm having an interesting time with that. Oh no, it crashed. Damn. The comics are confusing, but in the 21st century we have the internet and wiki. Yes, that. Dude, whenever people say, I don't know where to start with comics, it's so hard. Bro, just Google it. Literally, just Google it. I don't know what to tell you. I would say that at my old job. They were like, where do I start with Batman? There's number ones all over the place. It's like, well, just, pick a writer that you think is kind of cool. Start with their volume 1, and then just go from there. Well, how will I know which one's volume 1 of this series and volume 1 of another series? You got a supercomputer in your pants, buddy boy. Just reach in your pocket and pull it out. And just tippy tap tappy on the screen right there, and you'll get your answer. It was like the most frustrating part of my day. Other than that, still a great job, especially compared to my current job. It was pretty good. But yeah, dude, I feel like jumping into comics now is like way easier than it's ever been in the history of trying to read comics. But somehow people are trying to make it seem more complicated than it really is, and I don't understand where that comes from. But yeah, I might actually end it there because, dude, I don't know what's going on with my internet. My internet should be fine. I mean, I fucking pay for great internet, so this is not acceptable. But yeah, I'll cut this one short today. But yo, guys, thanks for coming by. Always appreciate the conversation and the discourse. don't know when I'm going to stream Hellboy again, if I'm gonna be able to stream Hellboy again, because obviously we have this issue going on right now. But yeah, guys, I guess I'll catch y'all in the next one. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, I'm getting Eiffel Towered by Brainiac and Ultron. It's not fun. Just nothing but silicone and titanium. I hate it. All right. Good night.